Hello, update of situation. Thank you for all the nice comments of these. What a blessing, it takes me only 2 days to be wrong normally. I'll see you again because I took an extra day off on the stream and it's a privilege. I really don't just last a little normally when something happens to me, that we are human beings and we cannot be 24 hours always doing so much content and so much work. But really thank you for being so wrapped up for such a good community when it happens to someone, because it was like being half sick, and more in this case, it was like a virus. Rare throat and a little more generally with discomfort, and had like the eyes that hurt me. Tightening when blinking and something else is a privilege. Thank you. Today we are going to talk about the hat in Genshin Impact Tomoda Ninja. Besides, I have a big surprise prepared for the end of the video that besides, everyone's gonna like it, so leave a good like, a good Bennett ulti. Subscribe, leave a comment on the algorithm. Thank you for enjoying and watching the video. Thank you for all the love and support. It does not cost you anything. Etan's free, and just for that, participate for a blessing once a day. Remember and watch previous videos that do not. And if you like the winner, I'll fix him up and put him on the blessing. And let it profit if you are eating. Let me in the comments what you do or what you eat while you're watching the video, whether to wash the dishes or be thinking about the bathroom or unscrupulous. Welcome guests to the directs, and I'll update you because right now there are assets. 5 or 6 very hot topics in the Genshin Impact community. Today all this arose because recently on stream, and I don't know if you remember the tasty guy Stremplay. Leave me in the comments who woke up the bubble, the light bulb of nostalgia Daika. Little on stream, and I could talk to his old editor, and then I could talk to him, and we were chatting for a while. He's doing very well, and Uncle Stremplay sends a greeting to the whole community by Genshin Impact, those who remind him or see its contents. The truth is that it was a great void, who left and was a good content creator, and came out live the subject of everything that happens continuously in Genshin Impact, currently, and now I close the theme of Stremplay and others, creators who left for the herd. There are enough. Leave me in the comments how many people remember as creators that because of how is the general environment, but as for example the Yao Stremplay case were not particularly controversial or tedious. There would also be things that actually affected the general attitude of the people. But to this day, not only that, but it seems that people are only angry with life. There are currently several topics as explained by Candentes de Mizuki. You have surely seen it on all social networks, that people are very angry because they find it a character that they don't like, or because of the design, or because of the gameplay, or because it goes to the permanent, or because it has entered in Azuma, and suddenly it does not. I had hardly any context and no one had ever talked about it. Another subject that is very strong, Candente, I think you all know, it's the theme of this picture that's here from the thermal baths, that there's basically a series of novels that are more than 18, and I think they're not that. So, as much as 18 as the famous orange platform slimes that I think are already worldwide known, and basically Hoyobers with this image has canonized very, in quotes, this manga where there are wild stories in the thermal baths with Yai and Raiden. Besides the traveler himself, let's say from the beginning I climb up, that it was canon. And here I tell you a very curious and interesting fact. And is that basically the game Genshin Impact initially, before it seems like a more stylish game, Disney family friendly as it is currently, with quite a few limits, but also with quite a few limbs. Subtleties open to imagination is basically posed as a game harem where the only man of all Tivat was going to be the traveler, and all NPCs and playable characters were going to be waifus and app. In fact, all the playable characters waifus were going to feel some kind of attraction, or have stories with the traveler. Well, now this, if you can read between lines, still happens, but from form much more subtle, limited, but also if you live the story of Genshin from the point, from the traveler's view, as if you think it's you, basically choose Edelamunan and less Sitalali. Now we're also talking about Sitli, that literally animation changes if you're to Edelaman. It can be seen that there is a lot of flirting nonsense, or what you call it in your countries. Huh? Leave me the comments how you say to the action or effect of courting a person of a gender.
I love you.
which for you is attractive, happens continuously in Genshin Impact, but as I say, very subtly. We skip the subject lately. I'm super good at going from one topic to another to the next wave of hate, and basically on Twitter you know this whole story with Saitalali already went the banner, but there have been a lot of very angry people. Above all, that Italo specifically was the greatest precursor of this, but really this is canon, and it is official and officially in Hoyoverse, worth the redundancy. Made this change of animation that you already knew of Saitalali biting his lip. That is to say, really, are now trying to experience and take a step further where, as explained above. With this concept of playing in the Traveler, receive some more attention to affection and love from the eye. And this is the case of Saitalali. I think you know this, but basically, again, there is another wave of hate, and hate very strong on Twitter. Also that Italo has to see, because while this comes from Hoyoverse, and it is Hoyoverse who has changed the animation of Saitalali, and the lip actually bites if you go with Eder, and if you go with Illumin doesn't also do Italo. He's been bothering and biting people because he knew they were angry a lot because he's absurd thing are pixels, because people should be angry that a pixel attracts another pixel. I don't understand, leaving the comments to those who understand it, but the waves of hate follow and follow. And there's still next wave of much more recent hat, as I say. There's like 5 open fronts, remember? That recently it was announced that the Staffosa cars were not going to be so Staffosa, and they will assure you to rolls at least in the 2 substats you chose, is to say, if you chose probability and critical damage, you already know that the base can come between, for example, probability 2.7 or 3.5, and then between averages 3.1 or 3.5, i.e. there are like 4 possible substats that can come out and damage. Critical for the same thing between 5.46, 0.27 and 7.8, and now for version 5.5, Hoyoverse has assured that at least 2 rolls randomly are going to go to these substats, is to say at least 1. Probability damage 2 to probability 2 to damage, i.e. whatever the combination of substats that you choose, and then the extras are still random, that if you go 1 more or 2 more than already, you have a very good item, not because there are people in networks saying, not because I would have to let you choose 3 substats at least, because it is too late at the time that has arrived, because they would have to. Instead, an item like the start rail that allows you to make it weird, some item that you had before that if it was very good and went very bad because it does not improve anything, because we have already spent the Tafosa Kachas, and they have done it on purpose, knowing that we have spent the Tafosa Kachas. There are very people. I don't know what's wrong with these people, because it happens all the time. This then, another one, and this one is also a little more serious. There are some likers that you already know that. Sometimes content creators mention Liker 1 and Leaker 2, but the reality is that it are changing names continuously, and except for the home Digiat page, that is this page, that is, it's here, and something else like HXG seems to me to be another, but those who save themselves an R. Surviving, and you know the former Nonu Bacha, that I think some will sound the truth is that there are 25-30 leakers and each one says a different thing, and besides they have the Likerism Mafia, rare, in which when a new one comes out, they melt it so that it doesn't grow and it doesn't take away the repercussion. A very strange thing about this is that there have been a number of lectures lately who have spoke of some information that the compilation banner would not be of the U, but would have been a ban of Inazuma, and you know that there is a news that I think Mordex spoke of her taking out another channel, that is Raiden Shotgun, who will be here too. That is one is a channel made with a voice and basically explains that there was going to be an Inazuma banner after that. And it turns out that this has meant that on Twitter, the 2 or 3 likers who explained a couple of related things. With this, that in the end, they didn't give themselves as rained them so much that they have had to delete people's accounts, saying that you're just not sure what, when half the sources of clicks, remember, that come out of Joyo. And it is noticed in many cases that Joyo plays the throwaway, in some cases give information to one, information B to another, and Guest does a small market study to see what clicks give more enthusiasm to people, and then make decisions in the game, and it works for the just like you don't spend those who work advertising on ads in other sources anymore, not just Google ads, but AIDS or Instagram and Facebook Meta Network, and some other platforms. Also to advertise, you know that internet advertising and more at levels of these mainstream games with millions of billing are very expensive, and Hoyoverse saves millions with this kind of thing is Their official advertising system works very well for them, but they've evolved not even their system. Advertising officer now is your official system to test what people may like or... I don't like it, but the point is in the end, because these people have ended up shutting down all this stuff. And beyond, I was commenting because after commenting on this, that explains at the beginning of the video, and we closed the circle of a very beautiful form of stream play and Kylo and other creators who have left the herd or that have left Genshin for ages for the herd. And in fact, some luckily have returned. The ecosystem is getting bigger, and that's pretty good basically because I remembered that it's true. That they both explained to me that it affects them very much how social networks work, as well as how it works. Like people in general random networks with anonymity and everything they can try to do or to say without any consequences or repercussions, and I hope that this is what is happening today, and is where you expect a great reflection of the Titus Phil, and that tells you to do things well. You don't give voice or vote, that kind of thing. But the reality is that not the reality is that I think, you know what I'm saying about that. I think any human being who's busy with it, your life building and doing things to get better doesn't have time to see that kind of thing or, let alone comment on that kind of barbarity or stupidity as boring people do. Zays the crash, the losers who keep feeding the algorithm of people who try. But here comes the big ending that was coming. And I promised at first the video. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people have come this video surely thinking about the miniature or the title that I would leave nets or that they are also jetting me now. And as you see, I don't care. I'm going to dedicate 10 seconds to the end of the video, and I haven't even mentioned it in the rest of the video. But the reality is that while there are people who are in their house bored with their dirty ass, trying to put my name on my face and logo on their titles and miniatures, because if they talk about them, no one listens to them. I announced that we will be this year touring all over Spain already. There are someone 4 or 5 dates confirmed, but the first one is in Zamora on 28, 29, and 30 at an event of gigantic video games that the publishers around here will be putting a lot more information. There are still 2 months left to update throughout the other videos, but I will be able to meet many of you in person, as was the last physical event that are around here. Also photos and videos of all the people we were with and the amazing beauty that happened in person, and that I was very excited because they brought me many gifts, and I didn't expect all the amount of people who came to meet me, to meet the rest of the team and ask us for pictures, and a lot of things. More than the truth, to me was a mini dream fulfilled to start. I felt the Rubius literally in its beginnings, and not only that, but thank you very much for everything that is. Thanks, because we will continue to grow, but do keep with the reflection that sometimes it happens, like when Mbappé just got to the Real Madrid and they keep criticizing him for everything he was doing, but he's already rebuilding. Sometimes, like Eminem's career. Bad Bunny's, it's gonna be raining on him constantly because Eminem was a rapper. White boy in a world where rap was the opposite, or the same with Bad Bunny, because he's doing different things, and when he makes traps, they criticize him because he makes trap. And when makes salsa, criticize him because he makes salsa. But nevertheless, what we have in common, they two and I are still giving content to the little girls here. But above all, we continue in taking advantage of us and enslaving those kind of people, and since they're not, you can avoid it because life is like this, and because in no case will those people wake up and get to do things with your life, because they realize that if they do things for themselves, they themselves will not succeed, because no one talks about them if they do not talk about others. At least what remedy to value them, enjoy them, and take advantage of them for our benefit. So thanks to all those people. Not only is all this happening, but a lot more collaborations. And specifically in this video, those who have come to the end give him more affection. I'm going to draw not 1 but 5 blessings. More is in this video for you to exploit, for it to grow a lot, for the algorithm bursting, so that it is very dressed and popular, and to leave a positive final reflection. After watching a video talking about the hat on Ancient Impact, right now there are 7 fronts open from people screaming like bitches on social media. And before you know, what happened to the skin colors in NATLAN? You know what happened to everything that It happens in Genshin that if you wish them, that if the anniversary, that if you reward them, that if the mode ends me, that if then came another game and the communities of Genshin and all. Google were also on webs killing verbally. People enjoy life. Live and let live. Do not listen to people who just yell. He's sowing negative things. Focus on the good. Learn. Enjoy. See everyone. The points of view and worry about growing yourself not being aware of. The rest of us, because sooner or later life takes its toll, and not just with the pixels. And bad decisions in a Genshin impact account, but with every decision that really take, including every step of the day to day, whether to decide to see a healthy content and that you contribute to something or see something that literally is gossip, hate, and above all, disinformation. When they talk about other people lying totally and trying to repeat one thing until to be true, when life does not work like this, and time always gives reason to those who, like for example, thank you for all the records and having come in. Trends in all content of Mavueka and NATLAN are all promotions, campaigns, contracts, and this year's tour with 4 or 5 confirmed dates throughout Spain, and we look forward to so little more. Thank you, care a lot. This is for you, and I'm just gonna keep working to give you all the love back and support. Having a very good day, night, and tiny Minis and Kaito.